Jill, what arguments do you imagine were being made today during that meeting where they were discussing potential criminal referrals?
I think they would be discussing whether it makes it look political if they make a referral versus the argument that if they don't, the Republicans will use it to say they didn't make a referral because no crime was committed. Obviously, that cannot be an argument that is left to be made. So they must make a referral, even though it will have no legal consequences. It won't change what the Department of Justice does, but it may change the minds of people who have come to rely on this committee. They saw a really good story told. And just in the same way that Andy wrote a book where he really told a good story so that people could understand it, the committee has done a good job of storytelling and making people understand what's going on. So they should draw the conclusion that they have made.
Andy, Jill, when Andy gets his commissions, he better be cutting you a check for that layup there. But I got to ask before I pop over to Andy, Jill, based on the committee's work, how many referrals do you think we're looking at here?
I think there will be a number of referrals. The question is not whether it will be Donald Trump. There's so many crimes that he has committed that the committee could refer. There are also crimes against many of the people who have supported him. The question is whether members of Congress will be referred for ethical violations to the Ethics Committee of the House or the Senate, or whether they will be referred for criminal charges. The other thing that needs to be in the report beyond referrals is legislative proposals, because I think we've seen that there are some gaps in coverage in the existing laws where maybe there's something that prevents a really strong case because of a wiggle room that a defendant might have. Those need to be plugged. The laws need to be changed, and Congress needs to make those recommendations.
Andy, I want to hear from you on all of this, too. What are you hearing when it comes to criminal referrals, and what are you hearing about that final report?
In terms of criminal referrals, it seems pretty much guaranteed at this point that former President Trump is going to be part of this criminal referral process. Now, we'll find out with 100% certainty in the report. But if you listen to what Congressman Schiff has said, if you listen to what other committee members have said, they often point back to this federal judge ruling that said that the former president, more likely than not, committed a crime in his actions around the 2020 election certification. And so that one is hanging out there for the January 6th committee. I also hear conversations about the enablers around former President Trump, his former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, the legal team talking in his ear. So, for instance, lawyer John Eastman. One really interesting question that isn't getting as much attention, but I hope that this report brings some clarity on, is what was the role of the Secret Service in the events of January 6, 2021? Obviously, former Trump aide Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony really provided an explosive account of the Secret Service, their involvement in all of this. And since then, we haven't heard much about the Secret Service, but will the report shed more light on the service's role on that day and what those members of the service did or didn't do? I sure hope that it does, because we need some answers there as well.